All right, first full week almost done. We've been at it since last Friday, though, so we've put in a lot of work to this point. The early start, I think our guys adapted very well. We had the day off on a Tuesday, which is a unique situation for us, but I feel really good about the effort, the attention to detail, the energy, all those things that you expect, but you don't take for granted. And our guys have went after each day. First time in the stadium today. It was good to get in there. We'll get back out in the grass for the most part of the next couple weeks to to continue to utilize that space to just to be on the grass in general. But feel good about where our guys are going. Depth wise, as we finish up this week tomorrow in a full padded day, we'll continue to separate out a lot of those situations, in particular where we're looking at twos and threes. It's not that all our starters are defined, but a lot of battles going on within positions for guys to get themselves either in the rotation, be the next man up, and then that does carry over also to special teams where we've gotten some real good work into this point in time. On our coverage teams in particular, we'll start transitioning to return teams a little bit more, and then field goal PAT wise, I know we'll keep working there too. And I don't have tons of answers other than say Casey Kotzman in particular coming back. I think we felt like his progress through the course of the year has been significant. His consistency is where I think he was off the mark in particular in the fall. Obviously, he got thrust into that position, but fast forward to now, really like the consistency part of what he's doing, and that doesn't mean here we're standing here August 2nd and the job is his necessarily, but he's the first guy that we should speak to, because like any other position, the opportunity to get better and to improve should be granted to a place kicker like any other position. So we need to see those guys continue to develop and see that competition continue to play out as we move into next week.
Can you mention or talk any more about the two guys who got in competition?
Yeah, I'll give you those names. Again, it's more presence. Miles Sandstead did return from the spring. We have two incoming freshmen to compete. I think have some capabilities. They're both here in our camps this summer. So letting that all play out and not getting too far ahead of ourselves is kind of where I would be at today.
And in the return game, did Marquis Taco kind of luck out, or was there a pretty good competition there?
Well, I think as we look at it, avoid with both situations last year. I think Taco was finally maybe himself against North Dakota State in the playoff game. So his ability to return punts, I think we feel really good about. Marquis had a situation last year where those opportunities maybe didn't present themselves all too often, which is the nature of college football. But when they were there, that didn't go all that great. So I think more competition on the kickoff return end than the punt return end. But I think Marquis certainly, with his experience and the production he has shown, has a leg up.
Ryan King looked like he had a pretty solid practice, but just overall wide receiver since the last one we spoke to. How do you do that for your
Yeah, Ryan King, not that he was an unknown, but he'd only been here for a couple weeks leading into when we got going last Friday. So you can see his progress, on a daily basis, and that's progress within our offense. It's not that he isn't physically ready to go, having been in both two FBS programs, but just playing that position is about certainly your ability, your talent, but then understanding what an offense is doing. So feel like he's made I think significant progress here this week. I think Ty McCullough continues to be a guy that I know is going to serve as a rock for us. Having Junior Alexander now full steam ahead. I know we had hopes last year, but Junior's, I think, has playmaking ability, and he's continued to demonstrate that. Having Taco back and his presence on the offense 100% is great. Javonte King has flashed, and I know he's a guy that we need to continue to bring along because he does have a lot of ability. Jacob Trimble's been out, but Jacob, I know we feel like needs to be a piece to that puzzle, and then Aiden Garrigan's a guy that's been in the program for quite some time that is steady. So I know rattled off a bunch of guys there, and that's kind of where I'd see it right now. I think we still have some things to work through as to what combinations we would necessarily play with. But I do feel like we have great potential there.
You talked about the sense of urgency earlier in fall camp. I think that brings competition into practice. So we've seen it obviously. So what do you think about the competition level and the way the guys are competing?
Yeah, I think our guys are doing just that. Iron sharpens iron, and when you have the opportunity as we present to go good on good, ones on ones, however you see it, as much as we do, those guys need to understand they're out there making each other better. They're pushing each other to the end, and that means sometimes the offensive guy is going to win, sometimes the defensive guy is going to win. There should not be any animosity back and forth. It's just about getting better individually, and then making our units better, and I feel like we have that a group of guys that appreciates and respects one another, but at the same time, is out there to compete against one another, because that is our competition right now is each other, and going on down through our units, even like how our 3s and 4s compete against our 3s and 4s. So we get a lot of work in that is intentional, and our guys are taking advantage of it.
What's the offensive line competition been? What's that starting group look like at this point?
Yeah, we love the return of Cole Sane and JT Reed, but they haven't been out there a whole lot yet. Cole had a lingering deal from the summer, soft tissue, and then I think it was day 2, JT non-surgical situation with his hand. So those two haven't plugged themselves in, but then that's provided opportunity for us to, I know, look at the position flexibility of both Marcus Ware and Connor Moore and those guys playing inside. It obviously allows us to look at Burke Mastel quite a bit at the guard position, but also then allows us to look at Cedric Jefferson, Titan Fleischman at tackle. Because ultimately, getting JT and Cole back is going to happen here in short order. But whatever maneuvers we need to make, it's about getting those guys capable of playing, and do we need rotations, or ultimately if guys go down, what does that next best guy look like for us? So I think progress, young guys that don't have a lot of game experience, when I talk about Burke and Cedric and even Titan, that I think are going to factor in, and we got a couple weeks to ultimately see what that means.
For anybody else that you have mentioned that's kind of made some flashes?
Nyland's coming along. We have Nyland at center and guard, and ultimately that's the question. If something were to happen to Justice Perkins, what is our answer at center? Is that Zach Nyland? Does he go in? I think that's a question mark. I think Everett Carr, who we haven't talked a lot about from Bozeman, is probably a guy, when you look at beginning of spring to now, and that second year group has made as good a jump as anybody. We're playing Everett inside right now, but I think he's got capabilities of playing tackle. So, a lot of pieces to work with. I think the competition piece is there, and I know those guys they're getting tested the other way each day too by all the guys we have on defense.
Defensive backs, how you guys are trying to find everybody, especially nickel and corner.
Yeah, I think Miles Jackson and Caden Dollar at nickel continue to do the things that we ask. I think Caden potentially can be a guy that can play the other two spots free and strong. So we're getting Caden a bunch of work. I think corner-wise, John Johnson, Andrew Pauldrill, Simeon Woodard, in no particular order, I think we really like where all three of those guys are. And that's 3 we played with for the most part last year, and that'll continue. I think Takari Carr is certainly come a long ways from where he would have been this time last year. And that's just patience and continuing to work with guys. He's a testament to that. So, whether that means game 1 he's factoring into a rotation, I'm not sure, but I know we feel really good about what he brings to the table. I think of those young guys, Jace McMillan is probably the one that's emerged the quickest. And again, what that means as potentially a 5th corner right now in playing, I think that remains to be seen. But we got a lot of talent there, and it's that's good for the future, and it's good that I think we feel like at least one of them can probably help us out in the short term. Well, I think Drew, Drew played really well at times last year, and Blake went in and got better, and that's how I would have seen last year. But it was an inconsistent position with some real flashes by both of them. So I think Blake has picked up on that. That first year of transitioning to a program at a position like that, where knowledge is such an important part of that trust. I think he's in a much different place. I know Coach Owens is working real hard with him, and even those guys getting, to know one another is part of this transition in year two. I know I mentioned Caden as a possibility there. I know Taden Gray, we've primarily looked at it free right now. Taki Lula Kepa is back. So that free position led by Blake is I think, still a work in progress, how it'll sort out when we go down to New Mexico. But a lot of talent there, a lot of ability, and those guys, I do think, continue to get better and better.
How's it different evaluating the kicking game at practices here rather than?
Well, we're taking time each day in the stadium to at least get all the team's eyes on those kickers. So before we go over the grass, we spend a little bit of time in here. So each and every day, we are spending time. Now, being in here allows us for maybe a couple different opportunities, beginning and the end of practice, like we were today. We'll be back in here, a couple times next week. But each day, there's going to be some measure where all the eyes in this program are on those guys competing for that job.